Hello, everyone, and welcome to TarotStache. This is our monthly Twillow talk with our friend from TarotStache, Gerald.
Hello.
Hey, Gerald.
Thank you for having me back.
It's always a pleasure.
Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad to be here.
And we have some others that have joined us as well. So let's say a quick hello to them as well. We have Hypnicity, Melanie, hey. And then we have Fogo Pogo, Kaylee. Hello, Kaylee. And apparently someone was doing their hair and makeup.
I didn't say which hair it was. It was my mustache.
Mustache hair. All right. Mm-hmm.
This just does not happen naturally, everybody.
True. So. Yes. It's a piece of art.
There you go.
That's a compliment.
Boom. I'll take it. I'll take it.
It's a compliment. Absolutely.
Oh, definitely.
And we have Maruda. Hello.
Hello.
Hello. We have Coyote. Rosenbaum.
Coyote.
Hello. And we have Rose Blue. Welcome. Welcome.
Wonderful to see everybody.
Great to see everyone. We have Mary Alice.
Hello. Mary Alice.
Awesome.
So
welcome to see you all.
Because I'm simulcasting this on TarotStache, there may be a few more people who do not know what Twillow Talk is. Can you remind everybody what we do? Because, I mean, most of the people who are watching right now are the best chatters.
They are.
They're the best chatters. They're the best lurkers, and some of them are the future lurkers and work lurkers. They may not have had time to actually look at the description.
True.
Because I think it's a really cool thing that you do for Twillow Talk.
That we do for Twillow Talk.
Yes, that we do. There you go. I have been.
It's all of us. It's a group effort.
I love it. Love it.
So what do? We have authentic spiritual conversation. And we really like to get the audience input. We like to give you a bit of an update on where we're at energy-wise and with our human design transits and all that, which I'm thinking we're probably going to need to hear about this week. And what else do we do? Then if we need to, we pick a card for a topic. So there's some that we haven't needed to lately. But we do like to do that, pick a card, and then we have like authentic conversation about whatever the topic is.
And we share the good, the bad, and the ugly about our spiritual journey, how it unfolds, what it looks like, the things that light us up, the things that we need being lit up from, and everything in between.
Yeah.
Yes,
yeah.
Absolutely.
That's the whole authentic part. We're not here to be, doing anything that's too weird.
And I'm
we are pretty weird. Never mind.
Well, speak for yourself. I'm really weird.
I just didn't want you to, take that the wrong way.
No. But it's
weird.
Where the importance of authentic conversations even is much more important. Because there's so much going on, we can lose ourselves. And sometimes we need to be around like-minded people in a safe environment to where we can understand what's going on for us so that we can engage the world as completely as we can. And sometimes we can't. It's just like, nope, I'm going back to bed. Ain't nothing wrong.
I did that today. I did. I went back to bed. I'm like, okay, well, this is only an okay morning. I'm going to go back, have a nap, and get up and have a better day.
Restart. Yes.
Yes, I hit restart today. So we have some comments that weird is good. Triple thumbs up. So yes. I agree. And yes, this is what I always say, actually, is that we are weird with a Y. The magical weird. Absolutely.
Magical weird.
The magical weird. Alchemical weird is what it is. So.
Love it.
You need to add
Yes,
that
I
to
was.
the list of words.
Yes, I love that one. You know what else I heard? So this was in my other hat. Occupation. There's a word for you.
Okay, occupation.
Occupation. So ponder on occupation while I do a little bit of an energy update, and we'll see what's going on. Oh. Okay. Yes. Well, we send you tons of love for that, Rose Blue.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Love and definitely healing as well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, there you go. Courageous occupations. That is what we do. We have courageous occupations. Stay tuned for the explanation.
Mm-hmm.
In the meantime, let's take a look here. So we have our solar flares, which have actually been pretty mild. It's not so much the solar flares here that have been of interest. It's actually the auroral activity. So the KP index has been quite high. So we'd be feeling this part here up in the 6. That's definitely a high one for us. And then if we look at the Schumann resonance, we had an interesting Schumann resonance. We had a blackout. I think it was about 18 hours, somebody said. So, that's where it's like either so low or so high, they can't read it.
Mm-hmm.
So it's
went high. You see that white right before it blacked out there?
Yeah, I suspect it went really high. Yeah. And then we've had, it was 24 hours, it says here. Okay, cool. And we're at a power of 13 today, which isn't too bad, but our baseline, of course, is 7.8 hertz. So it's still a little bit elevated, but I think we need a little bit of quiet time after this is what I'm feeling. So that would be what we have for our energy
So you're
update.
talking about a blackout.
Yes.
It goes too high or too low.
Mm-hmm.
I'm thinking back to a show I just did with medium Betsy Palmer on Tuesday, where she was talking about a downloaded message from her guides about the need for a timeout. I'm wondering if these time periods are important for us spiritual beings or beings who are connected,
Mm-hmm.
so that we don't spiral out of control unnecessarily.
I would say that is accurate. Yes.
Okay.
Yes. And we have quite a few people here. So let's just say hello. Oh, we've also got Washington has had 53 earthquakes in 30 days, 10 in the last 7. Wow. That's lots. And we have Garnet joining us. Hey, Garnet. Welcome. Great to see you on. And we have Pamela. Hey, Pamela. Welcome. Welcome. Rest up, starseeds. Yes, that I've been hearing a lot. Mm-hmm. We are in a time of great transition. So the transition is just coming closer and closer, and we are feeling it. And we are also, this week, I saw
I'm going to speak for myself. I'm using all of these powerful things that are happening all at once to augment my magic, augment my prayers, augment my readings. Mm-hmm. And because, and again, by the way, for those of you who don't know me, my name is Gerald. I'm TarotStache. I'm opinionated. I have lots of opinions. And when people blame, and I think they do it superficially, when people blame natural events for their behavior, that is dodging the responsibility. Mm. And so it's like, Jennifer and I were just talking about human design. And human design is just a great...
Really?
Yeah, I know.
Because you had a show. Tell everybody where your show was.
We had a laugh and learn about human design, and it was on TarotStache. But
so check it out.
Yeah, check it out. But but my point is, what's going on is when we understand how we are in the world and what flows for us, and sometimes there are things that we fight against. If we go with our flow, but we understand how we go in that flow, then I can pack my bag differently for upcoming events.
Yes.
Does that make any sense? I sort of rambled.
Yes, it means I packed the Kleenex for the next week.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's a great thing. Trust me, I'm packing salt. I'm lighting extra candles. I'm making sure that I turn my devices off at a certain time. And I'm also I'm drinking extra fluids so that I stay hydrated.
Yes.
And I slow down when my natural tendency is to want to overeat. I go, all right, let's put that in a small bowl instead of a big bowl, and do so with intention.
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. Jen's like,
Well, there's so much here. There's so much here.
I mean,
dive into it when I get into the transit.
And so everybody, please make sure you're using your tiny hands to like and subscribe to all of our channels. We do appreciate it. There are a lot of people here, so this is very good.
This is awesome.
And I saw Maruta.
Yeah, we have a few more people to say hello to.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'll stop talking.
We have Hershey. Welcome. Hershey the Shadow Reader. Welcome, welcome. And Garnet says that he loves your pink jumper.
Thank you.
It's very nice. And then we have, and it's branded, by the way. Show how it's branded. This is part of his line.
There you go.
It's awesome. Check that out. And then we have Betsy Palmer. Hey, Betsy. Good to see you.
I was just talking about the show we did on last Tuesday, Betsy.
Awesome. Coyote says you have the best props.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
He does. He does. He's influenced us in a way, because now I have a whole drawer of props beside me here. So just in case I need them.
Yep.
Just in case.
Well, and then last week it was Mardi Gras, and then Lent started. So there's a lot of coinciding celebrations.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, and it's a beautiful energy, right? When we look at everything that is there in terms of transformation and what it can bring us to.
Absolutely. So let's hear about the transits, please, Jen.
So what's really interesting, so to Gerald, what you were talking about like we can't blame everything on the energies, and that's very true. We can't blame it on the energies, and I love the gene keys for that, because every energy that comes through with the transits has a shadow, a gift, and a siddhi or enlightened at state, right? And so where we fall on that spectrum, that is us. So the energy is coming through, sure, and we have to navigate it, most definitely. But how we navigate it and what we do with that energy is up to us. And what's really interesting when we talk about like the solar flares and all of that is that there's this. Okay, so again, Gerald and I talked about this on one of our Laugh and Learns. I think it was the one on transits. We talked about neutrinos, right? So tiny particles, almost massless, but they have a little bit of mass, that are constantly flying through space. And there's billions and billions and billions of them that are coming through us all the time. And what's really interesting is these solar flares, right? This is this rapid release of energy from the sun. actually accelerates particles in the atmosphere.
Mhm.
And so when we talk about this idea of like downloads and all of that kind of stuff, it's really interesting because now imagine all of these neutrinos are being accelerated to us and the impact that that then has on the Schumann, right? And how these things can all be very interconnected, right? So what's the energy that's coming to us right now? So right now we are in the gate 22. And the gate 22, we switched into, I'm just looking at the calendar really quick. We switched into it on Saturday. And so there was a shift in energy on Saturday, and we're going to be in this energy until Wednesday. And then we're going to shift to the 36, and we're going to be in that energy until next Tuesday. So I'm just going to do a little bit of this just so you know what's coming. And this is the energy that we've been dealing with. So I'll try to do a quick bit for both of them. Okay. So the gate 22 is the shadow of dishonor that moves to the Siddhi of grace through the gift of graciousness. And right now, the energy of the 22 is a really powerful energy in terms of its transformational power, right? Like we're looking at 22 whose highest purpose is to transform dishonor into grace, right? And so with this energy, you want to look at like, where are areas where I don't honor myself? Where are areas where I'm not showing up graciously for me or for others? And how do I want to be able to transition that energy? Right? So, you know, if we're in that victim state, right, that ungracious place, we're going to either like try to be very, very proper or we end up being inappropriate. Right? Like we can get kind of stuck on those polarized ends.
Extremes.
Right?
Yeah.
And so, I mean, everything. Like,
I'm thinking, inappropriate? What does this mean? Define inappropriate, Jen.
when we're looking at it in this context, it's about dishonoring.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
So how can this,
Good.
I mean,
I'm glad you clarified.
appropriate, inappropriate, in jest and whatever, that depends on company.
There you go.
There you go. That's called menopause.
Fair enough.
Can you do me the favor and tell me the three aspects of gate 22? It was dishonor.
Yeah, dishonor to the Siddhi of grace through the gift of graciousness. So the journey it's the way of graciousness, right? So if you were to go like, I don't know, up the scale, it's like dishonor, graciousness, grace. Grace is that enlightened state.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah, and really, you know, we talk about like, especially on the spiritual journey, there's so much talk about this need to like shed the negativity, right? And we look at that and go, okay, but what does that even mean? And how do we do that? And we can't just go, oh, okay, it's gone. Like there's healing that has to happen here, right? And so part of the dishonor that we can often see is not giving ourselves the space and the grace to heal.
Yeah.
Right? But when we're able to go into the way of graciousness, we're able to open to hold that space, right? And then we open to what's possible. And so, you know, there is this kind of component where, and Richard talks about it, this ability to like, we can just reach out and claim that. Like we can have that energy. We don't have to, you know, stay in a place where we go, oh, well, it's not going to happen, or this isn't going to be good enough, or whatever it is. And it's really interesting. Like we were talking earlier, and Gerald, you had mentioned about like the Akashic records in our last talk, or maybe this one. I don't know. Everything's just kind of like boom for me today.
It was. I had mentioned the records.
But this is the dishonor here. Richard Rudd, when he talks about it, equates it to the Akashic ocean. And he's talking about the ripples that happen in the quantum field, right? And we notice that, and we know that there are ripples in the quantum field. I mean, good golly, I know Tanis and I were talking about this, like lives that are all just interconnected and woven, and you're kind of here and you're kind of there, and we're a little bit in all of it, right? Like there's definitely these ripples that come through. And so it's really about how do we navigate all of this energy, and how do we navigate everything that's happening. And the gift here, he equates to the milk of human kindness, right? So healthy emotional expression and what that looks like. And it's okay to be like, this is heavy. This is tough. I'm going through it. It's okay, right? But it's about how we express that energy that makes a difference and shifts it from that place of dishonor to that place of graciousness. Right.
Well, and I love the idea of, you know, as you were talking about this, the idea of holding space. If we're feeling a certain way, the graciousness is to honor how we're feeling. Yeah. Embrace it. Therefore, it removes all the power that it has over us.
Yes.
And that leads into grace. That's so cool.
Yeah.
And giving yourself the space and the time and the compassion to move through it in your own time without that self-judgment piece. I know that's one thing Jen and I talk about a lot, is like, okay, I have to give myself that, you know, that grace to not judge myself into why am I feeling so teary today, and trying to find the why, because our brain wants to understand it, and it's not always something we're meant to understand. Sometimes we're just meant to move through it.
And sometimes it is just what it is.
Yeah.
We just look at it and move through it, right? As long as we're taking responsibility for us in that situation, whatever that is, and we're moving through it.
It's such an important piece too, that these aren't energies. Like right now we're in the solar plexus. So if you're looking at the body graph, right, we're bouncing all over, and right now we're in gates of the solar plexus. So the 22 and the 36 that we're going to go into are in the solar plexus, and it's the emotional center, right? So we look at that and go, there is no logicking this out. Is that a word, logicking? There is no logicking.
We're making up all sorts of words today.
Right? This really is about being able to sit with the emotions, to ride the emotional waves, to allow ourselves to go through an experience so that we can come through it and come out the other side and be okay.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Yeah, for sure.
So the other gate, do you want to do because
I just want to say hello. There's a bunch here that's come through, and then we'll get to the second gate. So I like this one. Many years ago, while living with my parents, my dad once asked me, when will you have normal hours? I responded, normal by whose standards?
Love
and
it.
That is a great example of giving yourself grace. Really.
Definitely.
Because he's judging by his standards, and you weren't. You were judging by your own, right? So that's beautiful. And then we have a big hello to Mary Hernandez Walker. Welcome.
Hi, Mary.
Oh.
Welcome. And Annie says, talk to yourself like you would to a friend, with kindness, time, and love. Absolutely.
Definitely.
I've actually called people on that. You know, somebody else say something in front of me about themselves. I'll be like, don't talk to my friend that way.
Oh yeah.
They'll do, oh, that was stupid. Don't talk to my friend that way. You know, because I do have that mama bear side. But and sometimes it's just hormones. Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. And again, be gracious to ourselves.
Yeah.
It's okay, right? It's okay that happens. It's okay that we have hormones. It's normal. It's fine.
Exactly.
We're
human. With all of our imperfections and emotions and learning that we have to do, all that stuff.
Definitely.
Oh yeah.
Definitely. Well, and that graciousness is going to come in really handy as we move into the gate 36. The gate 36 is the gate of crisis, right? And so it's the shadow of turbulence that can move us to the siddhi of compassion through the gift of humanity. So we're looking at this and going, okay, right? I can get very caught up in the turbulence of this energy and get carried away with it. Or I can allow myself to recognize and accept the humanity that is involved in all situations and have compassion for it.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Right. And so this is going to be the energy that we have transitioning into, I think I said Wednesday, right? Let me just look at the calendar.
Through Wednesday, yeah.
Yeah,
So,
Wednesday to Thursday. So we'll be transitioning, depending on where we are in the world, we'll be transitioning into that between that Wednesday, Thursday time.
mm-hmm.
Right. And it's really about bringing in that tenderness, allowing ourselves to see where somebody else is coming from. And so, being able to work on this place of honor, of knowing what it is to have and bring in that compassion, right? They're going to flow into each other, these two energies,
Mm-hmm.
right? So if you find that you're being caught up in fear or worry or victimhood around being vulnerable, notice that during this time. Right? Notice if it's bringing you into a place of nervousness or if it's making you more conscious of possible crises.
Mm-hmm.
Right? And how can you allow yourself to step back from that turbulence? Right? Notice it for what it is, notice for what it's bringing up in you, but then have some compassion for the humanity of all of it, right? For that part that's okay, but we're going through it and it's okay.
Yes.
Right? This is often associated with the dark night of the soul energy, right? Because it's the darkening of the light in the I Ching. And so, that tenderness is so important during this time, because it's in those moments when we're really feeling that darkness that, you have that energy of the spirit descending, right? Bringing that enlightened energy in, being open. So much we don't, we talk about it all the time, like we're getting downloads and we're doing this and we're doing that. But how often do we actually stop and allow ourselves the space, right? To have that come in, to process it, to integrate it, right? Just to honor the fact that I'm feeling it today.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
Right. So until we see you guys again next time, just know that these energies are happening, and to give yourself that grace and to give yourself that compassion and to give that grace and compassion to others.
Well, and you talked about turbulence, which we can get to compassion, but we do that through humanity.
Mm-hmm.
So that's keep that in mind. I'd encourage people to look up, what does the word humanity mean by the definition, but then what does it mean for you? Because that's something that goes back to the gate 22. Because if we want to get grace, we have to be gracious, saying, I don't know what that word means, or I don't understand what it means to me. What does it look like? So then what are the actions that are associated with, with expressing humanity?
Yeah. Well, and the beautiful thing with that, and I think both of you and probably a lot of you who are watching, because of the attunement that we want to have to the natural cycles, right? By celebrating the different cycles that are happening on the earth. And we recognize even in those cycles that things ebb and flow, right? There is a natural decline and then a natural growth. And that has to happen.
Yes.
But what ends up happening is, if we get caught in one of those declining cycles and we act without awareness, we go into an emotional crisis. right? But if we can go into that decline, or that, what we consider a downward part of the cycle, and we can say, okay, this is just opening me for more to come in, right? I'm allowing for a clearing out. I'm opening for something new. And then I can go back into that growth process and integrate that new, right? That is truly allowing ourselves, for me, this is my interpretation of being human, right? This is the way that I see that we are able to align ourselves so that we are actually having an experience and not judging the experience, not reacting to the experience, not falling victim to the experience.
Yeah.
But just having an experience.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
Yep, for sure. So we have a bunch more comments here. So we've got this one, which I think we are all a work in progress.
Mm-hmm.
And crying, it shouldn't be shamed, right? We should be able to cry. Crying is a natural thing. And Shem's feeling the turbulence.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
And hello, Jonathan. Welcome. You forgot we had a time change. Yep, we do that here.
Yeah. We're hoping that might change down the road. We'll see.
Yeah, we're hoping. Shem's seeing a lot of 333.
Mm. Yeah.
We are humanitarian.
Man.
That's a mouthful, isn't it? Humanitarian.
There you go.
Apparently, I'm a work in progress too.
Mm-hmm. We all are.
I know. I didn't need that as evidence, but
There you go.
a snake has to shed in order to grow. Exactly.
Mm-hmm. I love that. There's a video out there, and it's how do lobsters grow? I don't know if you guys have seen that or not, but it talks about how a lobster's shell doesn't grow, right? A lobster actually has to find a place where it can go, where it can break out of its shell, stay there, vulnerable, grow a whole new shell, and then it can go out again.
Wow. Ooh, so that's like hermit mode. Hermit from the tarot, right? That time where we had that introspection.
Yeah. Right.
Beautiful.
And so we look at that and go, you know what, that hermit time, that part of us where we allow ourselves to be vulnerable, maybe we have people who we really trust who are there that can help look out for us and all of that. Maybe we have to really find a space where we are truly hermited away.
Yeah.
So that we can go through that shedding process and then a regrowing, right? That layer.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, definitely. Hello to Patricia. Thank you for dropping in.
Have a good walk home.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
And Betsy was just playing with a big lobster.
Oh,
Nice.
Beautiful. Don't shrink to fit into places you've outgrown.
Love that.
Yes. Yes. Jonathan likes Betsy's lobster playmate.
Yep.
That's why I do love winter. Time to slow down and do some healing. Absolutely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Well, and that's getting into the cycles of nature, because that's what Mother Nature does.
Yep. Absolutely.
So,
Patricia says, "Thanks, friends."
Mm-hmm.
Oh, we have Jane the Seeker with us as well. Welcome.
Hello, Jane.
Aw.
Jane watched a YouTube channel about a guy who saved a grocery store lobster 3 years, passed on his last molt.
Aw. Yeah.
Poor guy. It was his time.
Yeah. Yeah. But it's I love that example, right? That molting, that vulnerability that we have as we let go of these whether they're defense mechanisms or protective tools that we have in order to allow ourselves to grow, and then we develop new, and then we cycle it all over again.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. What'd you get?
It's an octopus, but I think it would say I was harassing.
There you go.
Is there anything in the transits about harassing octopi?
I love it.
Maybe dishonor. I don't know. The poor octopus might have felt dishonored.
I was just trying to.
I think it's fantastic.
What's really important, and I think it resonates true, is this idea of is that we need to have grace and compassion, not just for ourselves, but for everyone around us.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
So grace and compassion.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And that's hard sometimes.
Yes, it is.
Especially when we're living in a very binary energy.
Yes.
Right? We feel like there's, a lot of division and things like that. And so it's often hard to have grace and compassion for ourselves, let alone for everybody else, especially when we don't feel aligned.
Yeah.
Right? So how do we bring that in to our experience? And, and again, I think this comes back to holding space. Can I hold space for you to be you, and I'm going to be me? And if we can make that work, then great. And if we can't, we can go on our way. And that's okay.
Yeah. We live in judgmental times.
Mm-hmm.
So true.
Mm-hmm.
This one especially, right? Reminds me of saying, be kind. You don't know their story.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And even if you know their story, their reaction to their story could be very different from how I might react to a story.
Yes.
Yeah.
So
Well,
that's
and
the
we
other
don't
thing.
we don't know, even if we live the exact same experience, it's going to be different. And it's going to be unique for each one of us.
Yeah.
And so they're really, how often do we not even know our own story?
Well, yeah.
It's true.
And we may be put back into a situation that we've had before, but our reactions are different because we are different people than the first time we had that, and we're going to be a different type of person or a different person the next time we go through it.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. That is true. Annie says, yes, very hard at times with the ones who we see are causing chaos.
Mm-hmm.
Tests there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
Yes.
that is true. Big hello to Rachel. Thanks for joining us.
Hi, Rachel.
Hello.
Hello.
And Shem is noticing so much jealousy and competition.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, that's that duality, right? The polarization of things.
Yeah.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And we don't have to, we don't have to stay in that energy. It's hard. It's hard to transcend it sometimes. It's hard to step out of it. And so we need to make the decision if we want to or not, and then put in the work to do it if that's what we want to do.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And sometimes that's an exhausting thought.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Because change is tiring. We get very tired. There's like a change fatigue that happens when there's a lot of change happening.
Oh, yeah.
I've dealt with that at workplaces where they want to make this change and they want to make this change and they want to make this change, and the staff is like, no, that's enough.
Yeah.
That's where you need those cycles like we were talking about. Like you need that time to process the change and like be okay with the change.
Well, if you change it too much, you're all the way back at the beginning, and you're like, okay, but I never left here, so cool.
Well, that can happen too.
That is one way to deal with it. You are absolutely true.
Yes, we have options. We have free will, folks. You can choose not to.
No, but the reality is that everything is changing, right? Nothing's constant
is.
in change.
But we're never the same person 2 days in a row
No.
because we always learn something different. So it's always going to affect our story, like Jonathan was saying, right?
Yeah.
Yes.
So
Well, and what comes to mind is, the Borg. Resistance is futile. We can resist. We can try.
Yes.
But change happens whether we want it to or not. And so it's really about how do I want to navigate this in my experience.
Mhm.
Yeah, Jonathan says, like, making a move, it's physically exhausting. It's also one of the biggest changes you can experience in life. Definitely. Yeah, Rachel's saying it's a crazy week ahead. Yeah. Definitely.
Well, and so this is where we were talking about that is if we know that it's a crazy week, then let's have some compassion for ourselves and prepare for that.
Right. Bring the Kleenex.
And bring the tissues, buy the extra gallon of all natural chocolate ice cream, get some fresh fruit to help, and plan to get enough sleep.
Yeah.
And sip.
Absolutely. All the time. All the time.
Yeah. Well, and again, I love, the fact that we're in this energy of graciousness and compassion, because that really is going to be the only thing that's going to help us get through this, right? If we have the ability to be gracious and compassionate, there's room for love, there's room for joy, there's room for peace in our experience.
Yeah.
Definitely.
Yeah.
Travel is another important change that we embrace as experiences. Yes, so happy travels, Jonathan. Safe travels. I believe he's going on an excursion. And Nalani says hydration.
Yep.
Monica says, hi, guys. Hey, Monica. Welcome. Yeah, it's all about change right now, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
All about change.
Yeah. And change can be beautiful and change can be scary. And it can be both of those things all at once. And it can be a whole bunch of other things too.
Well, and when we're thinking about change can be multiple things to you. It can be exciting. It can be frightening. It can be thrilling. Some people really like change. They're always constantly moving. So, gee, I wonder what environment that is, Jennifer. So I think we need to understand that sometimes we handle some changes well, with we embrace them, and then other ones they take us a while to start to incorporate and find our balance again. So
Definitely. And when we're dealing with the collective energy too, we have to recognize the impact that has on us. If we're sensitive to the collective, which if you're watching this, you probably are.
Probably.
Yeah.
Right? We have to.
Talking about you. Finish your thought, Jennifer. My apologies.
No, it's okay. But I do think that it is important to recognize that we're all impacted by the collective energy, right? To some degree or another. And so can we hold space within ourselves to go, okay, what is mine? What is collective? Because that also is to some degree mine.
Yes.
Right? It's not mine, but it is to some degree, especially if I want to be part of the whole. Right?
Well, and We kind of are.
And yet, right? It's the collective Maya. It's the collective illusion. It's the collective fear, right? And we want to be really mindful of that, because if we want to be able to hold space for transcending that, for transforming that, transmuting it, if we want to be able to see what else is possible, we want to recognize it, but we don't want to own it.
Right.
Yes.
Right?
Yeah. Not my circus, not my monkey.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And Jonathan says, the only constant is change. Embrace change before it's thrust upon you. And that was one of his history professors. Yeah.
Well, and it is an interesting thing. Oh, hi, IT Social.
Hello.
It is an important thing for us to, keep all of this in mind, because it informs us. When we have more information, we have multiple options. We have options we weren't aware of before.
Mm-hmm.
Now, because I am an overachiever, I looked up the word compassion, and it really relates to what you were saying, Jennifer. Compassion, noun, according to Merriam-Webster, because I used to work in a library. Sympathetic consciousness of others' distress together with a desire to alleviate it. So for those of us who are in the community, we have this sense of connection. We're empathic. So there's distress, and then the desire to alleviate it in some form.
Mm-hmm.
Part of the challenge with that is how can I alleviate it? I don't have the means.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's an important thing to, we're in that consciousness, and we're aware of the others. And it goes back to that message from Betsy's Guides. We need to do a bit of a timeout.
Mm-hmm.
We need to, other people are needing to level up or reap what they sow.
Mm-hmm.
It's challenging to watch.
Mm-hmm. It is.
Yeah.
So,
And
Well, yeah. Oh, looked up your environment. It's not mountains, caves, or shores. It's kitchens. Yeah, we talked about that today. Kitchens. That's mine too.
I think that's mine as well.
It
Kitchens.
is. Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
The
Jonathan
shores,
says his is shores, which surprises no one. Nope, doesn't surprise me at all.
But to what you were saying, Gerald, right? This, because we can get very caught up in like, what can I do, right? What can I do in the midst of all of this? And I think that we often want to run around and fix everything, because that's going to make us feel better. It's going to make us feel more stable. It's going to make us feel like, okay, I don't have to pick up your stuff if you're not feeling it. So let me help you fix it.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But really what our work is, like if you were to, and I know this analogy has been used so much, but if I can work on just lighting my candle, if I can just work on that,
Mm-hmm.
right? Then when it's time to share that compassion, I can go, hey, and somebody else can decide if they want to.
Yeah.
And take
Well,
that
and
forward.
yes, if we shine our own light, it actually lights the way for other people.
Yeah.
I agree that I agree with you 100%.
Yeah,
So,
definitely.
Yeah. And that's all we can really do in the midst of everything that's happening right now, too, is we shine our own light, and then we hold space for others to do the same.
We also have to find those glimmers. We have to spend time not allowing someone else to remove our joy, regardless of how small it is. And we also have to be careful not to remove our own joy.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So
yes, definitely.
So Betsy says the collective energy seems to have been building in chaos ever since lockdown. Humans seem to turn a corner of sorts. The vibe can be dizzying.
yes.
Mm-hmm.
And she adds, I am feeling better and better the longer I honor my well-being as priority number one.
Mhm.
Awesome.
Jonathan too. Same here, Betsy. I've been focusing on self-care above all else, and it's
Yes.
really amazing.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yes.
Aw, thanks,
go.
Jonathan.
Jonathan.
Ah.
We're a glimmer. We're a glimmer
That's
for Jonathan.
awesome. Very cool. Yeah,
Awesome.
just little
Yeah.
light of mine.
Mhm.
Hi,
Akiba.
Kiba.
Hello.
Welcome.
Hello.
So, can you believe we've been an hour?
No.
I'm not surprised. I could just tell that because I think it's interesting because if we relate this to that gap that we had in the Schumann, was it the gap in the Schumann?
Yeah.
Yeah, we don't know what's going on there, and it's that idea of if the moon is void of course, it's a great opportunity to do certain things. So in those gaps, what can we do to allow for grace and compassion? Because I like to think, magically speaking, for entertainment purposes only, you do you. But what do I do in that void? Because when I'm not in that void, I'm going to get more of something. And I hope it's more of the energy that is compassionate, that is filled with grace.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I'm wondering this too, Jonathan. He says he saw the gap as having jump timelines.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Certainly.
I would be curious to see the connection between the whether it's like the M or X classes, and then how long after there's a gap that happens, right? Because all that information coming down.
We didn't have a lot of flares though this last bit.
No, but I would say like 2 weeks ago, right?
I see what you're saying. Yes. We've had some coronal mass ejections though, so that's been affecting it a bit.
See, and this is where I love the idea of overlapping all of this information, putting it on star charts, putting it on astrological charts, and noticing that, because it does inform us. And there's beautifully skilled astrologers out there who they get this. They see the link and the rhythm of, well, the last time this happened, it was 100 years ago, and this happened.
Yeah.
So again, the energy repeats itself.
Yeah.
So it doesn't actually look exactly the same. I had a teacher once who said, history doesn't always repeat itself exactly. It more echoes it. The same sort of thing. So.
Yeah. And Rachel said she cried a lot. But that's a good thing. You're clearing stuff out. It's cleansing. Right?
And Rachel, are you being nice to yourself because you cried a lot today, or are you giving yourself a hard time because of it?
That's right.
Yeah.
Because it's a good thing.
Yes. I would encourage you to be compassionate for yourself and go, wow, I needed to cry a lot today. And guess what? It's energy that is not bottled up anymore. It's been released. And
exactly.
Fill that with something. Well, mostly because of Ollie not eating. I understand. Okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's okay.
Yeah.
It's still releasing, like Shem says, right? Yeah.
Of course you're worried about it.
We'll send him some healing vibes.
But this is something, and maybe just to reframe a little bit here, you're worried about him, and so you're crying. That crying is your ability to release the buildup of energy within you so that you can continue to care for him when he's having a hard time.
Yeah. Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, he is older.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shem says she's sending you love, Rachel. And we have also a dub. Hey,
Hello.
Dub.
Hey.
Okay. So, should we do some home
Mhm.
play?
Let's do it.
What has Jonathan got here? The guides showed me an image of the cosmos, making a grid with planets, stars, suns, comets, and asteroids as the points of the grid, and the grid's patterns are in constant motion and change. Ah,
Yes.
yep.
Mm-hmm.
You saw something like that, I think, too, didn't you, Jen?
Well, it's really
the
interesting.
constant
The constant change.
Yeah.
Well, and I saw, yeah, I did. And I saw it all as this, it's interesting because there's a connection between our genetic code. There's a connection between the spiraling in the universe and the infinity of movement. And what's really beautiful is like we think like our galaxy, and when we're taught in schools and stuff like that, it's like, here's the sun, boom, it's just there. And then all this stuff is just going around and around and around. But if we actually look at what's happening, everything is moving through space, right? And as it's all moving, it's spiraling all the way through. But then everything else is also in constant motion. And so it's really quite beautiful that, again, coming back to there is nothing constant but change. We're always changing, right? It's a lot of the visions that came through for me came through with this book, and I have, we'll get to that someday. But part of it was understanding how even the cosmos were different billions of years ago.
Yeah.
Right. And things shift over time.
Yes.
And I mean, we've had so much change since then in terms of, planets and stars that no longer exist and new ones that didn't exist then, and everything, in its constant, cycling of, creation, destruction, and that's okay, because it's all here for those experiences.
So we have all that change, but also there's no time.
Mm-hmm.
So let's wrap your head around that, folks. It's all happening right now, but it's all changing right now.
And yeah, everything that ever was and ever will be is also right now, even if it's different.
Yeah.
That's all.
So, while you're hermiting, you can maybe hermit on that and reflect on that.
Well, and on that note, we're going to pick your home play.
Yes.
Home play comes from Sacred Feminine. And I pulled one out, and as I did, a second one came flying out with it.
Okay, so we have to do two today.
So the one that came out was Take a Warm Bath.
Sounds good to me.
And the one that came flying out was Taste Something Sweet.
Sounds like a great combination for a hermit day, don't you think?
I think so. And for some grace for myself and some compassion and just holding space.
Absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so. All right, take a warm bath.
That's what I was thinking too.
Sounds like a plan.
Yep.
You need a bigger bathtub.
Chocolates in a bubble bath.
Sound divine. Yes.
Ice cream in a bubble bath.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Some of that good chocolate stuff that Gerald was talking about. Right?
You got it. All right, guys, here we go. It's time to immerse yourself in sacred feminine waters, grandchild. Let the warm waters of Mother Earth cleanse your body, thoughts, and worries. When you play in the realm of the sacred masculine for too long, your mind and body become dry, rigid, and ungrounded. Soak in the healing waters that come into your home. Saturate your body until you feel the chatter of your mind settle. Welcome the tranquility. It is worth the wait. As you absorb the warm liquid embrace, call in the Sacred Mother and honor her with your attention. Do not take this gift of water for granted. Not every human on their earth walk can experience this healing luxury. Honor your place in creation that allows you to receive the Mother's waters at will. With loving intent, accept the healing that the Sacred Mother bestows and send out healing to others as well. When you are done with your bath, send a blessing and use the water to feed your plants or your garden.
Beautiful.
Maybe there's bubbles in it, I don't know, but
Maybe not with bubbles, but beautiful.
And taste
You
something.
could also bless your water in your bath.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Got to do
definitely.
the blessing.
Yeah. Oh, and I like what Betsy said. Voila. Took long saltwater swim and made a huge banana pancake for breakfast.
Beautiful.
Sounds
You've done your
perfect.
homework. You could do more if you want to, though.
Perfect.
Biodegradable.
Jonathan wants the biodegradable bubbles.
Sounds
That's
good.
fair. I think that might work.
Mhm.
All right, and taste something sweet. Here we go. Have you forgotten to enjoy the sweetness of life, grandchild? The sacred feminine is associated with sweetness. Sometimes you are called to a sweet treat because you are longing for comfort and communion with a softer, more nurturing part of yourself. If you acknowledge this need for maternal comfort, then eating something sweet can soften you and soothe your physical body. Mother Earth created many delicious foods for her children to add sweetness to their feasts. Enjoy her many berries. At the same time, be mindful of your cravings for sweets. Have your cravings become too overwhelming? If so, this indicates an imbalance. Your physical body may be signaling a time for fasting to connect with the sacred feminine in a deeper way. Your emotional body may need attention. Make time and space to express a deep hurt. Bring your awareness to your body's relationship to sugar. Address the imbalance by slowing your sacred masculine drive, and remembering to enjoy the sweetness of life. Partake of its bounty and follow your body's wisdom.
Beautiful. That always comes back to asking what your body needs in that moment, right? What does my body need? What does my mental, emotional state need? What does my energetics or spiritual state need?
Yep.
Epsom salt is great for your garden. Is that true?
Cool.
It's very good at balancing some of the chemistry of the garden, and certain plants
Beautiful.
do extremely well with it. So you're right. Mary.
Okay. Awesome. I'm not a gardener, so
Neither am I.
Pardon me asking. Shem loves the cards. Rachel is looking for blueberries. She's been craving blueberries.
Nice.
Ooh, chocolate covered coconut bar.
There you go.
And a bigger bathtub is what.
Yeah.
She's still looking for the bigger bathtub.
Still looking for that in the bathtub.
Yes. I'm too tall. Yes. Fair. Wow. So that'll be a fun week if we do that, because that's all about self-care. So we can do our self-care, right? With all of that.
Yeah, and when we do that self-care, that's grace and compassion in action.
Exactly.
Definitely.
You cannot make this stuff up, people.
It
Exactly.
really, exactly.
It always comes out like that.
And Shem, it's seeds from the sacred feminine.
Seeds of the sacred feminine. Nice segue. So Kaylee says self-care with crystals. Kaylee and I are doing a show tonight on her channel.
Yes.
Woo Woo Undermint. And it is all about crystal healing. And I will put the link in the comments. So come and join us at 8 p.m. Eastern. That'll be fun. We're going to talk about all things crystals. Woo-hoo. Apparently it's in like 108 minutes or something. It's up on my screen live in 108 minutes. So come and join us.
That's fantastic.
So,
Started.
So we have a couple of other things happening this week as well, right? So we've got Jen and I have Mystic Messages on Friday. So we're going to be doing live readings here on Friday.
Mm.
And then on Saturday, we have support group with Beyond Being Human.
All right. I need to look at my calendar.
And that's at 7:30 p.m. on Saturday. So come and join us for that, and we can have a chat. You have to sign up for that at Beyond Being Human.
Yeah, so beyondbeinghuman.org/support-groups.
Right. There we go. Next week on here, we have Melissa.
Yes.
Melissa Sophia Joy.
Oh,
right?
exciting.
So she is a beautiful being, and so I'm looking forward to having a chat with her. And Jen, what else are you doing?
Well, I just was on with Gerald at 2 today, and we did another talk about human design environments. So check that out. That's on either of our channels. And just a note for Melissa for next week. So she is the founder of the Somatic Awakening, and Sophia, I think it's the Sophia Academy. And so she's actually got a whole bunch of really cool stuff coming up. So you'll want to hear about it's a couple courses that she has coming and stuff that she's been offering on. And it's about healing our wounds, right? Healing these parts of ourselves that say they're not good enough and all of that. So if that resonates for you, definitely tune into that next
And
week.
you had her on for the Love of Mystics.
And yes, I had her and Curtis Childs on for our first live episode of For the Love of Mystics. And so you can see that on Beyond Being Human's channel, on my YouTube channel. And I think I also put it on Facebook, the link to the YouTubes.
Very nice.
Yeah,
Beautiful.
that was an amazing conversation with them. And it was really cool because we talked very practically too about like how do we bring these spiritual practices into our day-to-day and how do they impact us and all of that. So it was a fantastic conversation.
Awesome.
That's great.
And Gerald, what are you up to?
I've
You're
got
always lots of stuff.
I've got lots of stuff. Tonight I am on Cleo the Seer's channel for the Mystic Four, where we're doing readings. I'm on Enlightened Insights tomorrow. And on my channel tomorrow, it's back and forth with Jamie and Gerald, the WTF episode.
Okay.
Ooh, controversial.
There you go. And then we have on Thursday, I have the episode 2 in a new series on my channel. It's called Creativity Conversations, and that is with Irish Granny Helen. So please like and subscribe to everybody's channel. It's free, and that way you can be notified.
Absolutely.
So, there you go.
Awesome.
Great.
So it's going to be an awesome week.
Yes.
And
period.
we want to thank everybody for joining us. Final words, anybody? Someone has something to say. Go ahead.
Have grace and compassion in all that you do. If you do not know what those words mean, look them up. If you do not know what they look like for you, write it down.
Love it.
Very good. Thank you.
And then take a bath and have something sweet.
Yes, definitely. And Jen, final words?
I mean, I'm right there with Gerald. I was going to talk about that grace and compassion, and he's got it down. So,
yep, definitely. And I think, we should all ponder what is our occupation? Because it's a new word. And
yes.
It's not my word. I'm not taking credit for it. But I just like it. And courageous,
There you go.
which if you're regulars with us, you would have heard that before. That's not a new one. So be courageous. Find yourself a courageous occupation. Maybe that's the change you want to make in the next transformation phase.
Could be.
And do it with self-compassion.
Yes.
And something sweet. And a bath. Because, that's the theme. All right.
Clean yourself up, people. Clean yourself up.
No, it's for relaxation. If it's just to clean themselves up, I just tell them to take a shower.
I'm just saying.
Oh, dear. Yes. Oh, let's say hello to
Marella, hello.
Hello, Marella. Welcome. Awesome. So, as Kaylee says, have a great night, everyone. And we're wishing you all a wonderful week. And we'll see you on our various things over the course of the week. Right?
Yes.
Have an awesome one. And we'll see you soon.
Bye.
Bye.